Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is your favorite show, Daily Calls, a show that addresses all your stock-related queries. Now, in case you're watching this show for the first time, well, the WhatsApp number is flashing on your screens. This is where you can send us all your queries, whether it's regarding the current stocks in your portfolio or about fresh stocks that you may be looking to add on this current dip in the market. Well, you can definitely look at this number and send us your queries along with your name, location and your contact details. You can also alternatively use the YouTube platform where you're watching our show live on. Use the comment section there to send us your questions and we'll be happy to take them up with our top market experts. Let's welcome our guest on the show today who will be answering all your queries. Prashant Tapsi, research analyst at Mehta Equities, now joins in. Prashant, welcome. Good to have you with us. Well, after a brief jump yesterday, again the markets are seeing some dips today. In fact, yesterday was a scarier show in the US, but then we were resilient. Today, we've actually not been able to sustain that move. How do you really first look at the markets? 22,345, 22,350 is where we are at currently.
So overall, the headlines have been taken care by the headlines which have been made by Trump. Every day there is a new headlines with respect to adding some tariff, and even by the night he is removing those tariff to 1 month extension. So those kind of volatility is keeping a lot of pressure in the US market as well as in Indian markets, and FIs are still in that mode of selling India and buying China or going back to their US markets. So I think these are the things why markets are still not able to get a clear direction where India is headed to.
Okay, Prashant, we have a lot of questions, so we'll straight away dive in and we'll keep coming back to the market scenario and keep looking for opportunities for investors. Let's look at the first question. This is from Avnish Chaudhary. He says, Hi Sakshi, क्या IndusInd Bank में buying opportunity इस level पर बनती है? क्योंकि कल की गिरावट के बाद आज यहाँ पर रिकवरी आई है. सिमिलरली अगर हम पेटीएम को देखें तो पेटीएम 900 के हाई से 350 पर गया था, फिर 1 से 2 महीनों में काफ़ी रिकवर गया. तो क्या IndusInd बैंक में भी इसी तरीके का सिनेरियो इमर्ज होगा? डेफिनेटली आपने ये सही कहा कि काफ़ी सारी इंटरनल प्रॉब्लम्स थी पेटीएम को और उसके बाद वहाँ पर हमने रिकवरी देखी है. कंपनी ने जब रिजॉल्व की हैं चीज़ें. IndusInd बैंक पर भी गंभीर आरोप ये थे कि जो डिस्क्रिपेंसीज आई हैं डेरिवेटिव्स ट्रेडिंग को लेकर, इनफैक्ट कंपनी ने खुद बाहर आकर इसके बारे में बताया है कि 1500 करोड़ से लेकर 2000 करोड़ तक के आसपास का हिट उनको फेस करना पड़ सकता है, जो कि मैनेजमेंट ने कहा है कि इसी क्वार्टर में वो रिजॉल्व करना चाहते हैं जिससे कि आगे की प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी पर कोई असर ना पड़े. इसलिए शायद आज एक थोड़ा रिबाउंड ज़रूर आया है 3.5% तक का. लेकिन क्या आपको लगता है प्रशांत जी कि थिंग्स हैव इम्प्रूव्ड फॉर IndusInd बैंक? कैन इट बी लुक्ड एट एज अ फ्रेश बाइंग अपॉर्चुनिटी और डू यू थिंक स्टिल डस्ट नीड्स to be settled here?
I think yes, one should wait and watch more updates from the company management as well as the internal auditor report which will come in this month end. But obviously, such kind of issues are really bad when it comes to a sector like banking, which is a very strategic sector in India. Paytm was a different story. It was a new age business model. Lot of huge fast growth has come from lot of internal issues, and which the regulators had identified, and that has been resolved right now. But now still RBI is waiting for the final report from the internal auditor and then look out this case. But obviously, with respect to the correction from last 3-4 days, the way the stock has corrected, the riskiest investors can take a call at this point of time. But again, a stop loss of 650 should be highly placed in this market, because suddenly some news will come out with again the number which you have mentioned right now with respect to 1500 crores to 2000 crore with respect to the loss which will be occurred due to this derivative product. But that is as equal as the 1 quarter profit of IndusInd Bank. If that is true, then again Q4 number will be really bad, or they will be going into the losses. So obviously, this considering this, and a bank which is almost a top 10 bank in India, is a very negative headline for the current market. So fundamentally, I would like to wait and watch, but technically, if would like someone want to take that opportunity, I think 650 should be a stop loss. One should take a call from these levels.
Okay, so it differs between investment call and a trading call. If you're a trader, you can definitely look at a bounce and probably play that. But for a long-term investor, one really needs to find out whether things are hunky-dory back again for the bank, and only then take a step forward. Let's look at some other questions also. This one is from Satya CK. He says, good afternoon, Sakshi. I have Indus Towers in my long-term portfolio. I bought this at 330 levels, and till today it was pretty solid. But I want to know why why is it suddenly slipping over? And should I also currently average at the current levels? Indus Towers today 5.5% of a loss. So is there any kind of a worry here, or should one continue to hold on?
I think yes, till yesterday everything was fine. Today morning when Bharti Airtel as well as Reliance had joined hands with the SpaceX, the satellite-based telecom network, so that will obviously have a very major impact on a telecom tower manufacturing or a service provider like Indus Towers. So obviously that was the only reason why stock immediately reacted by 6%. But obviously, technically, I think the stock can be settled anywhere between 300 and 310. That can be a good level to again track the stock and buy for a medium term to long term. But obviously, whenever the SpaceX comes, it is a long term story. Obviously, that will have a lot of impact on this sector. But with Pan India being India so large, I think tower business will still continue.
Okay, let's take another one then. We have this question coming in from Ankur Modi. He says, hi Sakshi, can I buy Sagility India at the current levels? Sagility India recently listed stock. How have you looked at it so far, and does it make sense for a buying for a long-term perspective?
Yes, only for long term. I am very positive because of the healthcare business product, which is focusedly made on the US market. And I
Yeah.
think that is a sector which is very much interesting. And uh, on valuation side, still not comfortable, trading at 80 to 80 to 85 P at current point of time. But again, still wait for 32, 35 would be a right range and a best risk reward ratio. So that can be a level to add more for a long term.
ठीक है लॉन्ग टर्म इट्स अ गुड बेट अंकुर यू कैन कंटिन्यू टू लुक एट इट फॉर द लॉन्ग टर्म पर्सपेक्टिव हमारे साथ एक कॉलर जुड़ रहे हैं गौरव है आगरा से नमस्कार गौरव कैसे हैं आप
मैं बहुत अच्छा हूँ। आप कैसी हैं?
मैं बिल्कुल ठीक हूँ गौरव बताइए आज का क्या सवाल है आपका
मैंने पहले भी पूछा था आलोक इंडस्ट्री के मेरे पास कुछ शेयर है 500 के आसपास जिनकी खरीद 34 रुपए से है तो वो आधे रेट से भी कम हो गया अभी 16 कुछ के आसपास चल रहा है मतलब 55 53 के आसपास लॉस हो रहा है मतलब आधा खत्म हो गया है। पहला तो ये सवाल है कि मैं इसमें कब तक ये थोड़ा ऊपर आएगा कहाँ निकल जाऊँगा एग्जिट ले लूँ। और दूसरा मेरा सवाल गेल पे है। गेल के मेरे पास कुछ शेयर हैं जिनकी खरीद मेरे पास करीब 248 रुपए से है तो ये एवरेज करना ठीक रहेगा या फिर इसमें वेट करूँ? मैं समय
चलिए
दे सकता हूँ कितनी भी कोई दिक्कत नहीं समय की कोई बाउंडेशन नहीं।
ठीक है लॉन्ग टर्म के लिए हैं दोनों कॉल्स इनकी आलोक इंडस्ट्रीज पर पहले पूछना चाह रहे हैं प्रशांत जहां पर 55% तक का लॉस हो रहा है क्योंकि खरीदा था ये 34 रुपये पर अब शायद 16 रुपये के आसपास आ चुका है ये स्टॉक तो काफ़ी भारी नुकसान हुआ है इनको तो अभी ये लॉसेस को यहाँ बुक करें क्योंकि 55% तक का लॉस इनको हिट एब्जॉर्ब करना पड़ेगा या फिर आपको कोई उम्मीद है कि ये स्टॉक रिकवर करेगा और इनका प्राइस वापस आ सकता है। दूसरा गेल के ऊपर है जहां पर अभी एवरेज करने की सलाह बनेगी या नहीं लॉन्ग टर्म की सलाह है और लंबी अवधि के लिए रुक सकते हैं और एवरेज कहां पर करें।
I will take Alok Industry first. Again, it's a very high risky, high return counter. I am still negative of the business. Again, the way after Reliance has taken over this company, the stock has not performed well in any terms, in terms of recovering the profits or whatever reason. So I think
Correct.
I will advise him to exit at this point of time. The pain is big, but still in this market, one should take this pain because there are a lot of other opportunities, best fundamental stocks which can give him that recovery of losses. So that would be my advice for Alok Industries. Second, again, GAIL, obviously, with respect to valuation, very comfortable 150, 160 range. A good, strong company, fundamental company, valuation almost like 10 PE and 1 to 1.2 price to book valuation. GAIL is a good story for long term. I'll advise him to average at this point of time.
फेयर पॉइंट सो आई होप गौरव जी आपको दोनों ही क्वेश्चंस पर राय मिल गई होगी पहला आलोक इंडस्ट्रीज पर जहां पर एग्जिट करने की सलाह है और गेल के लिए उनको पसंद आ रहे हैं 150 160 के लेवल्स लॉन्ग टर्म के लिए आप यहां पर निवेश करने की सोच सकते हैं। नेक्स्ट हमारे पास सवाल आया है और ये है हमारे पास मिस्टर दशरथी का और ये पूछ रहे हैं हमारे पास उज्जैन स्मॉल फाइनेंस उज्जीवन स्मॉल फाइनेंस होगा ये उज्जीवन स्मॉल फाइनेंस बैंक के शेयर्स हैं और 38 के लेवल पर है और लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टर हैं तो होल्ड करें या एग्जिट करें 34 पर आ चुका है यानी कि इनकी खरीद से नीचे है अभी उज्जीवन स्मॉल फाइनेंस बैंक में अभी क्या करें।
I think he can continue to hold. Loss ज़्यादा नहीं है 3-4 रुपए का ही हुआ है ऐसे मार्केट्स में इट्स गुड टाइम टू होल्ड अगेन पोस्ट आरबीआई ने जो उनको सपोर्ट दिया है अभी विद रिस्पेक्ट टू लिक्विडिटी पुश सो आई थिंक स्मॉल बैंकिंग फाइनेंस विल हैव अ लॉट ऑफ बिजनेस अपॉर्चुनिटी इन नेक्स्ट फाइनेंशियल ईयर सो आई थिंक एटलीस्ट साल भर के व्यू के हिसाब से यहाँ से होल्ड रखेंगे तो मुझे लगता है कि जो उनका ऑल टाइम हाई है 50-55 के आसपास तो वहाँ पे आने की कोशिश करेगा, बट ऑब्वियसली यू शुड हैव अ 12 मंथ्स व्यू फ्रॉम करंट लेवल्स।
ठीक है, उम्मीद करते हैं मिस्टर जशरदी आपको भी ये सवाल का जवाब मिल गया होगा। नेक्स्ट हमारे पास व्हाट्सएप के ज़रिए भी कुछ सवाल आ रहे हैं, तो वो भी ले लेते हैं। मोहित का सवाल है लुधियाना से, और ये बर्गर किंग के ऊपर पूछना चाह रहे हैं। रेस्टोरेंट ब्रांड्स एशिया 106 रुपये पर इन्होंने खरीदा है, 3 साल के लिए है, 500 रुपये 500 शेयर्स हैं इनके पास 106 के लेवल्स पर। यहाँ पर आउटलुक क्या है, जिस तरीके से कंजम्पशन बढ़ रहा है QSR चेन्स के ऊपर और रेस्टोरेंट ब्रांड्स के ऊपर, क्या फोकस रहेगा?
इंडस्ट्री में बहुत बुलिश है हम लोग, वेरी फास्ट ग्रोइंग इंडस्ट्री है, 30-40% ग्रोथ हो रहा है। एज सुन एज दिस जोमेटो, स्विगी एंड ऑल वो सब जो आ चुके हैं इंडस्ट्री में, दैट हैज रियली पुश दिस इंडस्ट्री वेरी फास्ट। बट अगेन उसका उनका कॉस्ट ऑफ बाइंग इज टू मच हाई। आई थिंक ही हैज टू ट्राई टू एवरेज आउट एट दिस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम, अगेन 60-65 के रेंज में बीच में एवरेज कीजिए। बट अगेन इसका होल्डिंग स्टोरी शुड बी एटलीस्ट मिनिमम 2 years। अभी अगले 1 साल के लिए मुझे लगता नहीं कि स्टॉक में कुछ रिकवरी आएगी, बिकॉज द स्टॉक हैज टू रिकवर फ्रॉम द लॉसेस टू प्रॉफिट एंड देन गिव सम बेस्ट रिटर्न। तो मुझे लगता है 2 साल के अगर व्यू है इन्वेस्टर का, तो इसको यहाँ पे एवरेज आउट करना चाहिए।
ठीक है, अगला सवाल बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग है, और ये 45 सुराग का सवाल है। और इनका इंटरेस्टिंग सवाल ये है कि यूएस में जो टेक कंपनियां हैं बड़ी बड़ी, माइक्रोसॉफ्ट और जो बाकी की कंपनियां हैं, ये कोशिश करना चाह रहे हैं कि एआई के डेटा सेंटर्स को नेचुरल गैस से पावर किया जाए। ये कल ही खबर आई थी, और डिमांड को देखते हुए नेचुरल गैस का इस्तेमाल करना चाहते हैं। तो इसलिए पयाली पूछना चाह रहे हैं कि इंडिया में क्या नेचुरल गैस के जो स्टॉक्स हैं, क्या इनको कोई फ़ायदा हो सकता है या नहीं, और यहाँ पर कोई पसंदीदा अगर आपको स्टॉक लगे जहाँ पर फोकस करना चाहिए एक नए एवेन्यू को सोचते हुए कि आगे जाके इनके पास भी कुछ ऑर्डर्स आ सकते हैं एक्सपोर्ट के, तो बड़ी बात हो सकती है।
So it is difficult for India to export gas out of the world. I think we are almost the importer of the gas as well. So
बिल्कुल।
industry इंडिया में जो अभी बन रहा है वो खुद के कंजम्पशन के लिए बन रहा है। अगर गैस के प्राइसेस के ऊपर ही किसी को अगर कोई थीम बनाना है, तो आई थिंक अगेन वी डिस्कस ऑलरेडी गेल GAIL, तो गैस अथॉरिटी ऑफ इंडिया कैन बी अ बेस्ट इन पिक राइट नाउ, बिकॉज वैल्यूएशन वेरी कंफर्टेबल लेवल्स है, ऑलमोस्ट 10 के पी के नीचे मिल रहा है, 1.2 प्राइस टू बुक वैल्यू के आसपास मिल रहा है, एंड रिसेंट हाई वाज ऑलमोस्ट लाइक 200 प्लस। तो मुझे लगता है कि एटलीस्ट साल भर के अंदर ये 160 से लेके 200 तक भी जाता है, तो इट्स अ वेरी गुड रिटर्न इन दीज मार्केट्स। सो आई वुड रिकमेंड हिम टू गो विद गैस अथॉरिटी ऑफ इंडिया, इट्स बेस्ट पिक राइट नाउ।
Okay, fair point. Let's take some other questions then. Many are coming in on our YouTube platform as well. This question is from one of our viewers, Ankur Modi, who is a big follower of Prashant also. He says, this Prashant sir, is Imagicaa world story continuing to be strong? Is there any impact of Trump's tariffs on this one at all?
नो मतलब ऑलमोस्ट ट्रम्प जी कुछ इसमें इफेक्ट ला नहीं सकते हैं। मतलब पीपल ही कैन नॉट स्टॉप पीपल गोइंग एंड एंजॉयिंग दिस अम्यूजमेंट पार्क। सो दैट वुड बी द वन रीजन व्हाई दिस स्टॉक इज स्टिल अंडर अ वेरी स्ट्रांग जोन। मतलब 60 से 70 के बीच में ही ट्रेड कर रहा है। आप देखो लास्ट 6 महीने में इमेजिका 70 का हाई और 60 या 58 का लो बना के ही ट्रेड कर रहा है। या अगर कंपेयर विद अदर स्मॉल कैप कंपनीज व्हिच आर ऑलरेडी डाउन बाय 50%, सो इन दैट कंपैरिजन आई थिंक स्टिल a strong candidate for me. Still only numbers have to come. Q1, Q2, Q3 all were good. Q4 I think better than Q3 आएगा, तो मुझे लगता है कि 75-80 शायद अप्रैल मई जून के आसपास ही आ जाना चाहिए। एंड रिसेंटली एक अपडेट भी आया हुआ है, आई थिंक दे आर गोइंग टू पार्टिसिपेट इन लॉट ऑफ पब्लिक प्राइवेट पार्टनरशिप वेयर गवर्नमेंट वांट टू हैव लॉट ऑफ अम्यूजमेंट पार्क्स पैन इंडिया। सो आई थिंक वहां पे भी वो पार्टिसिपेट करेंगे फॉर डेवलपिंग अम्यूजमेंट पार्क्स, दिल्ली में हो, कोयम्बतूर में हो, साउथ इंडिया में हो। सो आई थिंक दैट वुड बी अ ग्रेट अपॉर्चुनिटी फॉर मी। इट्स अ बाय फॉर अ मल्टीबैगर रिटर्न एट एवरी टिप।
ओके, एक और सवाल हमारे पास इंटरेस्टिंग आया है, और ये सवाल है हमारे पास सत्या का। ये लिख रहे हैं कि साक्षी, इज IndusInd Bank also the reason for Ashoka Leyland to fall, and should I look at Ashoka Leyland to accumulate at the current levels? You're right to some extent, Satya, because both companies belong to the Hinduja group, and even yesterday we actually saw a lot of the group companies face some pressure. And today again there is some pressure of 2.8 odd% on Ashoka Leyland as well. But since you're looking at this dip as an opportunity here, I'll definitely get you Prashant's view. How would you really look at this counter currently, Prashant?
I think the pressure pain from two levels. One, because of the group entity IndusInd Bank. Second, again the cycle of CV is still not getting in a positive trend because of the low private capex trend in last 6 months. So I think that was the only reason why stock is down from all-time high almost of 20 to 225 to 190. The stock will continue to trend negative at least for 175 to 180 range. That can be a good level for a long term or a short term investors to have a very good risk reward ratio. तो 175 180 के आसपास अगर स्टॉक आता है तो वहाँ पे ये स्टॉक को लेना चाहिए एटलीस्ट मीडियम टर्म टू लॉन्ग टर्म के हिसाब से।
मीडियम टर्म टू लॉन्ग टर्म के साथ। ठीक है, अगला सवाल ले लेते हैं और ये सवाल हमारे पास आया है सत्यन का। ही सेज आई हैव बॉट फर्स्ट सोर्स सॉल्यूशंस रिसेंटली at the rate of 340 and I want to average this stock further. Will it be advisable or should I switch to some other sector like a FMCG at the current levels? What would you suggest? I have a 1-year time phase. So first source solutions, any advice here?
इट इज ऑलमोस्ट नियर इट्स मेक और ब्रेक लेवल। मैं टेक्निकल्स पे देखना चाहता हूँ ऑलमोस्ट अभी उसका जो 200 डीएमए इट्स अराउंड 317, सो उसके नीचे आ चुका है। अगर क्लोज 200 डीएमए नीचे आते तो आई थिंक लॉट ऑफ नो फंडामेंटल थिंग्स गो ऑन टॉप। तो मुझे लगता है प्रेशर अभी भी कंटिन्यू रहेगा 280 तक। तो इफ यू आर स्टिल नॉट बॉट आई थिंक वेट फॉर सम टाइम। यू ऑलरेडी बॉट इट, आई थिंक वेट फॉर सम टाइम टू एवरेज आउट मोर नियर 280 के आसपास। बट ऑब्वियसली इस पे लॉन्ग टर्म व्यू रखना चाहिए। शॉर्ट टर्म में मुझे अभी इमीडिएट कोई बड़ा ट्रिगर कंपनी के हिसाब से या बीपीओ के हिसाब से कोई बड़ा मुझे मोमेंटम नहीं लग रहा है।
ठीक है, next we'll take another question. We have this question coming in on our WhatsApp again. Ajay, who is a senior citizen from Meerut, is writing in. Ajay ji, warm welcome to Daily Calls. Thank you for watching our show and looking for a guidance here. His question is, I would like to know your views on long term for HCL Technologies. I already have a position here, 100 shares at 1120. What would be the future of this one? So you're sitting on profits and that's a good thing because the stock is at 1518. But currently we have been seeing some pressure of late on the IT pack as a whole. Prashant, what's your sense on HCL Tech? Should he continue to hold on to this stock? The stock has dipped about 21% in the last 3 months. Will it still be advisable to hold on?
Yes, I think it's a good hold with respect to as fourth largest IT company in India right now. Downside is very limited. Again, I think there are two reasons why the stock is down. One would be the currency effects which are helping the company to do good deals. But again, Trump effect which is keeping very much IT sector as a pressure. For me, downside is very limited. I think 1450, 1460 can be a level where again he would like to average it or he can do it at this point of time again. But again, with a 1-year view, I think the stock can do 1700 to 1800 from current levels.
Okay, got that. Let's take another question. And this question is from Mr. Vinu P. He says, hi Sakshi, how are you? I'm very well, Vinu, and hope the same for you. His question is on Power Grid and on ITC. Both are from different sectors. ITC, a poster boy of FMCG to hotels space, as well as when we look at Power Grid, it is from the power space. What would you say on ITC after the demerged entity has been separated? The rest of the business, how is that looking for ITC and of course for Power Grid also?
ITC again, the risk-reward ratio is very much helping for a reward to an investor for a medium term as well as a long term. 400, 410 can be a good level to start accumulating. Any deep could be adding more in terms of its ROI. But again, upside would be limited because of the heavyweight. Again, the momentum will be very slow. Q4 earnings should be a wait and watch. Again, Q3 was really good with respect to cigarette growth of more than 5%. If the same volume growth continue to happen in the ITC, I think the stock can go towards 440 and 450 levels in a month or so. So that can be a near-term target. Overall, with respect to the ITC hotel which got demerged from the company, I think that is a great opportunity. Still, the valuations are very much comfortable. The assets are really great. The places, the locations are really great. I think for next 1 year, if anybody would like to have a hotel stock, that ITC hotel can be a best pick on the industry.
Okay, fair point. I hope this has also helped you out to understand your strategy. Let's take the next one. This one is from Sameer Nikam. He says, hi Sakshi, good afternoon to both of you. Good afternoon, Sameer. His question is on Tilaknagar Industries. He says, I bought this one, 100 shares at the rate of 298. And the second stock that I bought is Affle India, 50 stocks at 1598. He wants to know, should he continue to hold on to these two stocks or should he exit? Tilaknagar Industries and Affle India.
I think Tilaknagar industry can be continue to hold. I think downside is very limited from the current levels and the business is really good in terms of the return ratio which they are generating. Almost ROC and ROE are more than 22%. So I think as an investor, he can be must assure that that stock will deliver him a good at least 15-20% return from the current levels once the market gets settled. So with respect to Affle India, I think again very much positive in terms of its business model. With respect to valuation, still not comfortable for a right level to buy. Again, I think one should wait for at least 1200 to 1300 levels, which can be a great level for a business like this to generate a good ROI for a long-term investor. So wait for a good level to add more FL in the current markets.
Okay, fair point. I hope this has also helped you out in your understanding of the stocks and the strategies there. Next, we have this question coming in from one of our viewers, Avnish. He says, "Ma'am, IRIDA पर QIP की न्यूज़ आई है तो यहाँ से क्या और गिरेगा ये स्टॉक? मेरा एवरेज प्राइस 198 का है IRIDA में."
देखो इरडा का एक्चुअली वी हैव टू वेट फॉर द मंथली अपडेट, वहाँ पे हमेशा पॉजिटिव मोमेंटम आ सकता है, बट अगर क्यूआई भी आने वाला है तो ऑब्वियसली स्टॉक में थोड़ा प्रेशर कंटिन्यू होगा, बट आई थिंक फ्रॉम लास्ट 15 डेज स्टॉक 160 से 140 हो चुका है, डाउनसाइड इज वेरी लिमिटेड, क्यूआई भी ओवर सब्सक्राइब होगा बिकॉज ऑफ द डिमांड इन द रिन्यूएबल सेक्टर, तो आई थिंक डाउनसाइड लिमिटेड है। आपको अगर क्यूआई में लेना है तो वेट एंड वॉच फॉर द न्यूज फ्रॉम द कंपनी, बट ओवरऑल मुझे लगता है कि डाउनसाइड बहुत लिमिटेड है, स्टार्ट अक्यूमुलेटिंग एट दिस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम।
Okay, got that. Let's take another question then. We have this question coming in from Mohit Yadav. ये लिखते हैं, जश इंजीनियरिंग पर सर आपका क्या व्यू है अगले 3 साल तक के लिए, क्या ये स्टॉक प्रॉमिसिंग लगता है?
Yes, luckily yesterday I was having this discussion with my team. So very great company, very great company, and the valuations are still little bit expensive. But obviously, I think one should wait for a right opportunity because in this market, I think such companies will be a added advantage. If the stock comes down to 500 levels, I think one should go aggressively buying the stock for a long-term investor.
Okay, fair point. I hope this has helped you out in understanding this, scenario there, and whether you're at the right track when you look at Jash Engineering, Mohit. Last 4-5 minutes before we have to let you go. So let's discuss a little bit on your own sense of how you're approaching the markets and the strategies that you are advising your own clients. That will benefit a large part of our viewers also, Prashant. So tell us first up, on which are the key pockets that you are more bullish on in this current recovery that's taking place?
I think last week also we had discussed on two themes. One is the summer theme as well as the Atmanirbhar
Yes.
theme. So I think these are the two themes still we are working because a lot of Trump effect doesn't come into these sectors. So Coal India would be one stock. Again, I am very much positive at this point of time. Again, considering the technical charts as well as fundamentally, as well as the
Okay.
Atmanirbhar story, which will very well suit for Coal India from the current point of time. I think if I would like to add this at the current levels, 400 can be a target for me for a very near-term outlook. Again, in power theme, again summer theme, I think Tata Power, Adani Power, these two stocks should be in focus because I think the way how power as a sector, again there is a huge deficit in the summer season. So I think these two stocks will deliver a great ROI for the short-term investors. So power as well as summer theme can be Tata Power and Adani Power. Again, one theme with respect to AC would be Voltas. Again, I think Voltas will generate good business because of early summer and late summer in this full year. So I think that will help a lot of businesses to come into the book. So I think 1500 can be a target for Voltas in a very short period of time. So these are the stocks which we are focusing and advising our clients.
Okay, fair point. Let's take some other questions then coming in. We have this one question coming in from Gul, and she has two questions. One is on Wipro, Prashant, and she wants to know that I have already 75 shares purchased at 295 and my view is 1 year. So what should I do now? It's fallen a lot, and how much more can the price continue to correct? The second one is Antony Waste Handling. She bought at 538. She wants to add more. She wants an average price here.
So in Wipro, I think another 20-30 rupees can be a number which can you see on the downside levels, which is around 245 and 250 can be a level one should wait and watch and add more at that point of time. So that would be a very comfortable level for a very consolidation phase for this stock. So second stock was again Antony Base. I think that's a great
Antony
company
Base.
because again it has lesser impact of global issues whatever we are seeing right now. So this stock will continue to be on a positive side. Again, we have to wait for Q4 earnings. There should be some kind of new contracts being signed that will give the stock a good track. I think for a 2-quarter view, I think 600 to 620 can be a target for Antony Waste Management.
Okay, fair point. I hope this has also helped you out in understanding how to go about an IT related stock Wipro, and from the waste management space, Anthony Waste handling at this point in time as well. Prashant, another question that's coming in is from one of our viewers, and he says, can I add sale at the current levels for the next 6 months? Again, your view on the entire metal space, looking at how China is improving in terms of growth, stimulus being shared, and we can see a rebound in their economy too, and China being the biggest consumer of metals, is it likely to help metal companies back home in India like SAIL?
Obviously, yes, China is helping a lot of global commodities to recover. Again, steel, metal, aluminium would be the biggest beneficial. But again, European markets are doing something like with respect to adding more tariffs and with respect to 25% on aluminium, steel, and all. So I think that will keep on volatile. With respect to price action, I think one should try to book no buy this stock at these levels, because the book value is almost near 140 and the company is almost available at 100 rupees. So I think with respect to the fundamental valuation story with a medium term to long term, I think sale would be a great opportunity. And a lot of business comes from domestic business model. Not there is nothing big in terms of export in sales balance sheet. So I think that would be added advantage for the stock to fall less and grow more.
Okay. Last question to you, Prashant. That's on BSC that I wanted to ask you today. There is a strong rebound in the FNO space on BSC as well. It's the top mover, 5% higher in trade. But this is after so many days of being under pressure after the NSC announced change in the expiry day, and thereafter the stock had been continuously under pressure. Finally, some green returning to BSC. What would you say to those looking at a current opportunity to invest into this stock?
I think limited downside, that would be the opportunity for the stock to buy with a stop loss which was the low of yesterday. I think 3680 can be the stop loss for a near term, and then try to buy at these levels with a target of at least 4500 for near term. So overall, very positive outlook on BSC.
Okay, got that. So that's the view coming in on BSC as well. Interestingly, it's the private banks that are actually pulling up in trade today. Of course, with the recovery coming in on IndusInd Bank, and we also have HDFC Bank that was rallying in trade. Is your faith returning on the large private sector banks yet again, Prashant?
I think yes, with respect to ITC, Kotak, HDFC Bank, people are trying to give more faith on these top two banks when we have seen the biggest news with respect to IndusInd Bank. So I think that is the only reason why these the top five banks are trading on a very positive mode. I think the pain which IndusInd Bank has seen should not be the pain of the industry. That's the assumption of the market right now.
Hmm. We'll just take one more last caller with you, Prashant, before we let you go. This is Kalpesh Patel from Mumbai. He's on the phone line with us. Kalpesh ji, namaskar. कैसे हैं?
नमस्कार मैम, आप कैसे हो?
मैं ठीक हूँ. बताइए क्या जानना चाहते हैं आज आप हमारे गेस्ट से?
मैम मेरा दो क्वेश्चन है. एक क्वेश्चन है ये स्टारलिंक में जो सीएसएफ में जो किया है कोलैबोरेशन एयरटेल और जियो के साथ में, तो उसकी वजह से मैंने आइडिया को शॉर्ट सेल किया हुआ है. ये 7 रुपये शॉर्ट सेल किया कि 5 रुपये के नीचे आ सकता है. और नंबर 2, ये जो फ्राइडे सैटरडे संडे ये सब यहाँ पे छुट्टी है, होली है, तो ये मंडे को मार्केट क्या लाल रंग से खेलेगा या हरे रंग से खेलेगा?
काफ़ी डिफ़िकल्ट सवाल आपने पूछा है और प्रिडिक्शन करने के लिए कहा है. देखना ये भी पड़ेगा कि फ्राइडे को जब यूएस बाज़ार और एशियाई बाज़ार खुले हैं उनमें किस तरीके से रुझान दिखता है, क्योंकि उसका भी इम्पैक्ट दिखेगा. और आज शाम को तो काफ़ी बड़े मैक्रो डेटास भी आ रहे हैं, उसका इम्पैक्ट कल दिखेगा. और अगर कहीं प्रॉब्लम हुई तो हो सकता है कैरी फॉरवर्ड भी हो. तो आप ये भी ध्यान में रख के चलें. प्रशांत जी, पहला तो वोडाफोन आइडिया पर इन्होंने शॉर्ट कर दिया है मार्च के फ्यूचर्स में 7 रुपये पर, और पूछना चाहते हैं कि ये 5 रुपये तक आ सकता है या नहीं, लुकिंग एट what is happening with the larger peers who are continuously expanding in bigger spaces?
Obviously, yes, I think 5 rupees can be a high possible target for Vodafone. My target is below that, again, 3 to 4 rupees from the current level. But obviously, the Starlink, which is in the headlines with respect to Jio as well as Bharti. Obviously, these technology will help India to explore the remote places in India to get some kind of network availability or internet facility that will help the company to grow. But obviously, it's a long-term story and very expensive internet services. So still, Vodafone is not going to track these Starlink. Obviously, they are being troubled with their own infrastructure growth as well as their customer retention and all. So I think that would be the only reason why Vodafone will come down to 5 rupees or below that. But again, very positive on Bharti Airtel. I think that would be the best telecom company in the market to hold and buy for long term.
Okay, fair point. Thank you so much, Prashant, for helping us understand the overall scenario in the market and addressing all the queries of our viewers. Thank you, and always appreciate your presence. So good to speak to you. Hope you have a fantastic time and a great Holi till the time we see you next week as well, and hope we actually find you in better space in the markets as well. Thank you so much for being with us. Right, viewers, we are into the second segment of the Daily Call show. We will now invite another top guest to answer all your queries today. We have with us Mr. Kranti Bateni, Director Research of Wealth Mill Securities, now joining in. Warm welcome to you, Mr. Bateni. Good to have you with us. तो आप दुबई से जुड़ रहे हैं या फिर इंडिया से?
I'm joining from Dubai.
Okay, wonderful. How's the weather treating you there, and what are your foreign friends telling you about India?
Sakshi, the mood is sober at this point of time with respect to Indian markets are concerned in a medium to short term. But right now, what we can sense is the foreign portfolio investors more keen towards the Chinese markets. That's where the interest is going on in the medium to short term. I don't think so it's going to get continued for a longer term, but it's just a short term thing. But the long only investors are quite keen pursuing their investments on Indian markets. So the long-term theme is on India. The recent correction on Indian markets also making the Indian companies looks attractive. The valuations are getting into a fair value zone at this point of time. So the long only money has been waiting to enter into India. Of course, in the medium to short term, some kind of impact, some kind of flows have been getting into markets like China.
Yeah, absolutely. So short to medium term, there could be a more interest spewing as far as China is concerned. But in the long run, India continues to be a strong story. 22,382 currently on the Nifty. We are now down by about 0.5% in the trade today. Let's get you to understand, Mr. Batini, how should investors strategize their fresh investments? If they're sitting on cash, is this the right time to invest in, and how should they go about investing in the current market?
Actually, the global equity environment is changing very fast. Last fortnight back, everybody talking about the US growth prospects, and in fact, the foreign portfolio investors have been running from US, India and emerging markets to US. But the scenario all of a sudden changed. Right now, the US recession worries and all, they're getting surfaced again. And we are, what kind of the downtrend in the US markets all of a sudden we are witnessing. So investors need to be cautious with respect to the global cues are concerned in the medium to short term that are going to weigh more pressure, weight on Indian markets in the medium to short term. But if the investors, one need to have a brave heart at this point of time to invest at this point of time. If the investor is a really long term at heart and also at action, majority of the investors, what we witnessed in the recent past, they come up with a template like a long-term investor. The kind of carnage what we witnessed, the sentiment and also when the euphoria get changed, these investors are frightened to be in equity markets. But that's the reason investors need to be a investor at heart and also their actions also. So if this is they have both these combination, definitely at this point of time one can start staggering their investments. There is no need of hurry because the global clouds are not clear at this point of time, um, and majority of the news events have been discounted in India. So one key trigger going ahead is the corporate results. That is extremely crucial going ahead
Yeah.
with respect to the Q3 results are concerned. So if the investor is a long-term investor, long-term in the sense at least 1 to 3 years horizon, one need to chip into the quality companies. But this time, the quality makes the difference.
Okay, we already have a lot of questions for you, but we'll take the first question right from Dubai, sir. We have, a viewer of ours who's watching you right from the place that you are in. Ajit is there from Dubai, and he says, I'm holding Titan at the price of 2,880. I have 30 shares. I want to know whether I should book my profit or continue to hold on. Well, Ajit, completely depends on your horizon. You should have shared with us whether you are in for a trading strategy or you actually can hold on for the long term. This is one of the marquee stocks in the gems and the jewelry spaces as well. Your suggestion, Mr. Patini, how should you guide this one?
Sakshi, if the investor is a really long-term investor, he can hold
Yeah.
on. Till Titan have the legs to rise. Apart from the jewelry, they are entering into the fashion space. Okay, that is also going to,
Yes.
as the disposable incomes tend to go up on a longer-term basis, one can hold on to the stock. And given the quality of the management and also the strong business model, Titan can weather any kind of disruption in the any global environment also. These business models can be sustained. So if the investor is a long-term investor, he can stay invested, and any dip also he can add.
Okay, I hope this has answered your question. We have this next question. This is from Shomalya Biswas from Kolkata. He says, I have 5,000 shares of Suzlon Energy at a price of 51. I want to know a target and stop loss for this. What would you suggest here, sir?
Actually, given the kind of volatility in the markets, what we are witnessing, one need to be little bit extra cautious with respect to the names like Suzlon and all. Of course, there is a sense of improvement in the previous quarter, but until unless the investor have a extremely high risk appetite, one need to be in these kind of names like that. These stocks have run up from 5 rupees to 100 rupees, and they got
Yeah.
corrected 50% at this point of time. So if the investor have that appetite only, one need to be in these stocks. Otherwise, he can exit these stocks in the rallies. There are better companies, much available. If he have the high risk appetite, most probably he can keep the stop loss around 50, around a trailing stop loss. If the stock is violating that range, he can exit.
ओके हमारे साथ एक अगले कॉलर हैं आशीष कुमार हैं सहस्र बिहार से आशीष जी नमस्कार कैसे हैं आप जी पूछिए
मेरा क्वेश्चन है कि मैंने इंडस आईएनडी के 50 शेयर लिए थे 927 में
ठीक है
जनवरी में लिया था
ठीक है
पहले तो टारगेट शॉर्ट टर्म का था बट एकदम से अभी जो क्रैश हुआ तो
गिर गया है
मेरी शॉक हूँ
बिल्कुल
तो उसमें क्या मेरे को करना चाहिए क्या स्ट्रेटेजी शॉर्ट टर्म एंड मिड टर्म में होना चाहिए
बिल्कुल आपने सही समय पर सवाल पूछ लिया है कि कल ही हमने सबसे ज़्यादा गिरावट यहाँ पर देखी है स्टॉक में आज थोड़ी रिकवरी आ रही है और आपने ये अच्छा किया पूछकर कि पहले आप गेस्ट से पूछेंगे और उसके बाद ही अपनी पोजीशंस के ऊपर कुछ एक्ट करेंगे ये सबसे बढ़िया बात आपने की है क्योंकि देखा जाए क्रांति जी तो इंडसइंड बैंक एक लार्ज प्राइवेट सेक्टर बैंक है और प्राइवेट क्षेत्र का एक बढ़िया बैंक समझा जाता है ऐसा नहीं है कि हमेशा से बहुत ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम्स रही हैं इसके फाइनेंशियल्स में या फिर बहुत फ्रॉड्स हुए हैं ऐसा कुछ पास्ट में हिस्टोरिकली बहुत प्रूव नहीं हुआ है लेकिन इस बार जो करंटली आया है मैनेजमेंट ने साफ तौर पर बाहर आके बोला है कि हम लोग ट्रांसपेरेंट रहना चाहते हैं इसलिए हम लोगों ने आगे बढ़कर बताया है कि हम ये हिट लेने वाले हैं Q4 में वो मानते हैं कि पूरा का जो इम्पैक्ट उनके पास पड़ रहा है 1500 करोड़ से ज़्यादा का वो इम्पैक्ट इसमें एब्जॉर्ब करेंगे और उम्मीद करते हैं कि Q4 में भी फिर भी प्रॉफिट्स पे आए वो इस तरीके की उन्होंने उम्मीद जताई है कल और ये भी बोला है कि आगे आने वाला जो फाइनेंशियल ईयर है वहाँ पर भी प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी के ऊपर पूरा फोकस रहेगा कंपनी का ये भी उन्होंने बोला है कि वो उम्मीद करते हैं कि ये एक ही बार पहला वंस एंड फॉर ऑल इस तरीके की सिचुएशन हुई है कोई रिकरिंग इवेंट नहीं है ये भी उन्होंने क्लैरिफाई किया है बट अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल आर स्टिल फीलिंग अ लॉट स्टक बिकॉज यू नो लाइक आवर व्यूअर आशीष जी 927 पर एंटर किए थे और अब 679 पर ये स्टॉक आ गया है बहुत सारे दर्शक इन्हीं की तरह इस स्टॉक में फंसे हुए हैं आप क्या राय देना चाहेंगे
साक्षी जी इंडसइंड बैंक का देखे तो वन ऑफ द स्ट्रॉन्ग बैंक है बट लेकिन जो न्यूज आया है पहला काफी रॉन्ग टाइम पे आया है मार्केट का सेंटिमेंट भी बहुत बिगड़ा है ये टाइम पे इसलिए रिएक्शन जो मार्केट का रिएक्शन है बहुत स्ट्रांगली प्रेशर क्रिएट हुआ है स्टॉक में इसलिए हम लोग तकरीबन 25% तक गिरावट देखा है स्टॉक में आज मैनेजमेंट कमेंट्री का बहुत मैनेजमेंट ने बहुत स्ट्रांग कमेंट्री दिया है और इन्वेस्टर कॉन्फिडेंस को रिस्टोर करने के लिए, और जैसा एश्योरेंस जैसा भी दिया है, नथिंग टू वरी बोल के. बट अगर मैनेजमेंट का कमेंट्री हिसाब से गए तो ओके, the valuations for this stock looks very attractive at this point of time. If the investor is an extremely long-term investor and have a high risk appetite, one can keep adding this stock. And these kind of falls in IndusInd Bank came earlier also, Sakshi. During COVID time also, the stock went up to the level of 220 rupees, also 270, 300 range. That was the level the stock touched. From there onwards, stock was bounced back. So, though really at this point of time, the great sayings of Wall Street, when there is a blood on the street, that is the time one need to buy. When the sale is going on, that is the time one need to buy. So the brave hearts definitely kind of the strong footage the bank have, and the way the bank have demonstrated their strong business capabilities in the past 7-8 years. If the investors believe in the stock, okay, one can add the stock and the existing investors can hold on. I can understand when a stock all of a sudden, like IndusInd Bank, one day comes below around 25 to 30% kind of thing in just few days. Definitely
Yes.
it creates the questions for the investors. It creates panic for the investors. But one can hold on to the stock.
आप बने रह सकते हैं आशीष जी, ये आपको यहाँ पर सलाह दी जा रही है. डेफिनेटली काफ़ी बड़ा इम्पैक्ट देखने को मिला है, और जिस तरीके से अगर आप मैनेजमेंट की बात माने तो वो कोशिश कर रहे हैं इसको एक ही क्वार्टर में इसका इम्पैक्ट पूरा करके आगे दोबारा से प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी की ओर बढ़ने के लिए. देखना ये होगा कि उनका जो कहना है ये कितना सही साबित हो पाता है Q4 के अर्निंग्स में. हालांकि क्रांति जी का मानना है जो लॉन्ग टर्म स्टोरी पे बिलीव करते हैं इंडसइंड बैंक की, वो खरीदारी के लिए धीरे धीरे अपॉर्चुनिटी खोज भी सकते हैं, और एग्जिस्टिंग इन्वेस्टर्स को बने रहने की फिलहाल सलाह दी जा रही है, क्योंकि इमीडिएटली इतना लॉस बुक करके आपको इस समय नहीं निकलना चाहिए. ये आपके लिए राय दी जा रही है. अगला सवाल हमारे पास आया है अमन एस अनेजा का. ही सेज, हाय साक्षी, आई नीड अ व्यू ऑन विप्रो. इज इट द राइट टाइम टू एंटर?
Sakshi, from last few days, the US tech meltdown, okay, that has been
Yes.
creating extra pressure on Indian IT companies. But if the investor is having a horizon of more than 2-3 years, definitely one can use this downtrend on Wipro to take enter into the stock. As in the beginning, what I mentioned was the US recession fears that has been creating more pressure on the IT stocks in the medium to short term. So, if the investor have a long-term horizon, given the kind of strong business models these companies and also all these IT companies, especially Indian large cap and mid cap IT companies are concerned, they have witnessed all these downtrends on US markets and the global markets are concerned. We witnessed 2008, we witnessed crises like Bank Valley crisis, and the unprecedented interest rate rise by Fed. We witnessed the COVIDs and all. So, despite of all these adverse events, these companies could able to expand their presence and also expand their profitability and revenues. So, if the investor is a really long-term investor, one can add this stock, but one need to add in a staggered manner. That is the important skill. Don't waste the gunpowder. Okay, if the investor want to buy 100, he can start accumulating with 10, 15 at this point of time.
Okay, fair point. We have some more questions. Vinod Chaudhary writes in, he's from Hyderabad. He says, I'm a big follower of Kranti sir, so I want to say my greetings to him. Thank you,
Thank you.
Vinod. And he has a short-term view and 60% profit on Axiscades. He wants to know whether he can go ahead and book partial profit or continue for the next 3 years. That's his question.
The stock has during this choppy markets and when the stocks are correcting, Sashi, the stock has risen around 80% in the past 1 year. So, congratulations to him for just holding on to this stock. Uh, Given the kind of the new news flows that are taking place with respect to the aviation industry is concerned and defense industry is concerned, companies which are into the defense technologies and all, they're gaining the momentum. Axiscades is one of the same kind of company. But due to the current volatility in the market, if he's a really long-term investor, he can hold on to the stock. And in fact, any dip he can buy. But given the kind of volatility what we are witnessing, any stock is not an exception. But this stock has been showing its resilience. The stock this week also it went up by around 20%. So he can book some profit from at this point of time, given the kind of 60% profit he is making when the other stocks, people are trying to preserve their capital. The stock shown its resilience. So he can book some small profit at this point of time. Any dip in the stock, he can buy further.
Okay, got that. So I hope this has answered your question. We have a question from Roshan Pradhan. He says, I want to know whether there is a fresh entry opportunity on International Gemological Institute of India, the recently listed stock which is into the gems and jewelry space and especially the lab-grown diamonds.
The theme looks very interesting, Sakshi, but the stock has corrected almost 50% from its peak from 610 to currently the stock is around below 300 levels. And given the kind of focus approach, lab-grown diamonds and also the diamond industry is concerned, the testing is concerned, their margins are quite high. They have EBITDA margins around 50 to 60%. But the stock has been witnessing a selling pressure at this point of time. If the investor is really a long-term investor, one can start adding at dips in the international gemology. The company have a strong pedigree of management, like Blackstone is the promoter of this company. So given the kind of institutional interest in this company, one can add this stock at dips.
Okay, got that. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Battini, for being with us on the show today and navigating through all the market moves and helping us with clear strategies as to what to follow to take the benefit of the dips in the markets that we are witnessing. Always a pleasure to host you with us on daily calls and hope to have you very, very soon back on the show. And in the meanwhile, I'd like to extend my greetings to you for upcoming Holi festival and hope that you and your loved ones have a fantastic, colorful year ahead. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Sakshi. Thank you for your greetings. And I convey my greetings to you and to all the viewers and your team at BTTV.
Thank you so much. With that, viewers, we wrap up this special edition of Daily Calls today. I hope all your queries were answered. In case there were some that were remaining, then you can definitely send us the rest of your questions on the WhatsApp number that's flashing on your screens, and we can definitely address them with our other top 2 experts who will be joining us tomorrow. So stay tuned.
It's obvious, Elon Musk is